Hiya, welcome back to the channel. And today we're welcome back a vehicle that we've done some work on in the past because, well, fucked, innit? I was trying to get it to make the noise it was making, but it's not doing it anymore. The start motor was trying to work but not working. And to make sure it's not just a flat battery, I've tested that. A quick way to test that is to put the lights on, and if the start motor's trying to crank and the lights are still up and the start motor's not cranking, chances are it's the starter motor. Anyway, I'm going to change the start motor. So first thing I need to do is disconnect the B82 res, which are positioned underneath the chair, the driver's chair. So if I slide that out of there and then slide the seat forward, I can get to a terminal. So if I disconnect that with a 10mm, the battery will be disconnected. Well, not quite, because there is another battery as well. So if I take this one off, this is the main earth coming to them. These earths on the where they join up the negatives are both joined together because the batteries are linked in parallel, because it's still 12 volts, just got two of the fuckers. So as long as I take that main lead off and disconnect that from the terminals, it should now be disconnected. Confirmed. Right, so now we can remove the starter without melting anything by putting a spanner in between the positive and the engine or anything there. There is a starter motor. So if we look at the new one, we can see what we've got to take off, but it looks like we've got some nuts to take some wires off before we even start. But like I said, we'll have a look at the new one to see. It looks like a 12 or a 13 and a 10. So I'll take them off first. And we're going to have to take it off from the bottom, I think, but we can take the wiring off from the top. So to do so, I'm going to take this shitter off, which I think is just a couple of bolts. Make sure nothing's connected to it, and that just removes nice and easily. And now we can see a bit more. We can take this one off, which is a 13mm on this one. So I'm going to remove that. Yes. So that's them taken off. Right, so once that's out of the way, I don't know if you can see, it's a bit hard to see, but there is a 10mm as well, which I've shown on the other start motor, the new one. Well, that's in the same place on this one, but with a wire attached. I want to take that off as well. So it's just underneath the other one. Yes. Which, as you can see very clearly, is there. It wasn't finger tight. I've obviously loosened it with a ratchet before taking it off with my fingers. But that is that. And then there's another wire. Oh, the other wire which is connected to that needs pulling off too, which you can't see anything, can you? Don't know if that's any better. That's control wire. That's what triggers the solenoid to make the starter motor work. That's now no wires on it. It's just a case of taking the shitter off, which I suspect is easier from underneath, so that's where I am now. I thought it'd be easier until I just twatted my head on that, which was a pleasurable experience, I might add. And now they're just a couple of 30mm, which that wasn't as tight as what I'd expect it to be. So there's one at the top which you have to get by feel, and then there is that one there, which, well, because you've got like a stud coming out the top of them, you'll need like a deep throat socket like that. So I'll just crack that off. That one's tighter than the other one, but still not actually as tight as what I expected. So pull these bolts out, which is just, there's one of them, and then another one somewhere there. I'll take them out, that's two in it. We count to two, that's right in it. Let's check that out. And then hopefully, with a bit of persuasion, hopefully it'll come off. Okay, that's tight. Maybe with a lot of persuasion it'll come off then. Well, if we look at the new starter motor, we can see it's got the holes. It's got like a recess in it, which looks like it's for some kind of dowel, which is probably what it's stuck onto. So it looks like it's going to need a bit more persuasion. Yes. Yeah, so it's quite tight, but it is going somewhere. Fucking hell. Try again. As you can see, this is going really well. Off you twat. Right, here we go. You just have to use the magic words. And then, start motor is now removed. Now, if you look at where the starter motor connects to, that is the flywheel. And I don't know if you can hear me because the phone's quite far away from where I'm talking. But what could be advisable to do now, or maybe advisable, it might not do any help at all, but Transits, back in the day, a few years ago, last one of these that I did, were known for killing starter motors because dual mass flywheels used to fuck up and put dust, which was conductive into starter motors. I don't know if that's still an issue, but you'd find that you change the starter motor and then it'd fuck up very soon afterwards. So yeah, I used to blow them out with an air lamp, which is probably really good for you. So I'm going to do that just as a precaution. Right, so not that much dust actually came out then, so there's probably absolutely no use at all. But now it's time to try and put this in place of where we just removed the old one from, using just one hand and hopes and dreams. That seems to have gone better than expected, so any minute now that will fall and land on my teeth if I don't get this bolt in, or a bolt in. And obviously I haven't put on the other bolt, I haven't put the earth on yet, but I'll put this one in before taking that one out. Right, now it's not going to fall on me and poke me in the eye or anything. Take this shitter out, put it through that, and then put that on. Right, now I'm going to tighten them two bolts up in the same manner as what I removed them, but in the opposite direction, with a massive erection. This is the top one, torque to spec, click, and then same with the bottom one, the exact same torque settings, I think. Don't know what the torque settings are, but I think they're the same for the top and bottom, and they're about sort of like this much. Not forgetting to lovingly replace this onto there. And the next thing is put the wires back on that we took off in reverse order of what we took them off. And I'm going to use the original nuts because they just look better, to be honest with you. So that's the 10mm torques to specs. And I've put both the wires back on. Well, I'm going to put both the wires back on. And then the 13mm or 12, I can't remember what size it was. One of the two, I think it was 13. I'll tighten that up, as demonstrated lovely here, until it's tight. And then I'm done there. So, if you look at that square bit on this air duct, it goes into another square bit in a sexual manner under there, and push it in, and then once it's in there, lift it up to line that up to there, put the 2 bolts back in. Yes. Now when we revert back to this area and reconnect these batteries, hopefully it should work. So I'm going to tighten that up. Yes. Now obviously before actually seeing if it works, we'll put everything away. So slide all this back in. And you know, important things like this here need to go in before we have to check if it works. So is the seat adjusted right? Yeah, that's all right. Right, now wait for some sheer disappointment. It doesn't work, but yes, that's actually the fastest it's ever turned over, I think. I mean, it's turning over at more RPM than the red line of the engine, that. That's a good strong starter motor. And of course, because we've had the battery disconnected, the radio not only lost the date and time, but it's lost the code. Now I think our code is 7247, so I think if I press that until it goes round to 7, and then that till 2, that till 4, then that one till it hits 7, and it should potentially work. I don't know if I press something else after it, maybe I press 5. Yes! Right, so that wasn't the right code, but I did find the right code. Put it in the same way, press the numbers like I said, and then press 5 when you're done. As long as you've got the code, set the clock, all that kind of shit. Not relevant to this video though, so that's it for this one. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all the usual bullshit, and see you next time.